Welcome to the Infinite Evolution Podcast, where you'll receive keys and codes to help you unlock your next level of joy, radiance, health, wealth, intuition, embodiment, and soul purpose. This is a space for lightworkers, healers, spiritual entrepreneurs, and anyone who wants to share their soul gifts with the world. We'll be exploring personal, spiritual, and professional growth and ascension through both the esoteric and magical and the tangible and practical. I'm Casey Aileen Knight, coach, mentor, as well as divine channel and soul gift activator. I founded the Luminous Evolution brand to help you elevate your business and beingness and light up the world. So glad you're here. Let's dive in.
Desire is holy. That sounds like the opposite thing that we have been taught by society, by many organized religions. The concept from Buddhism that attachment is suffering has been interpreted as anything you desire is going to cause you pain. There's also so much about relinquishing desire. And that works from a very masculine-oriented, control-driven, ego-based program. But for women, especially when we are aligned and embodied and in our heart and not actually ruled by the ego, our desires are holy. They are creation energy wanting to be made manifest through you. You're a spark of the infinite creation or creator that wants to explore this life, this entire existence through you. And that creative force wants to do things, wants to make things, wants to see things and explore things and grow and learn. The desires that are coming from that heart center, from that spark of the infinite that's inside of you, they're not wrong. They're not bad. They don't mean that you're a bad person for wanting more. There should be no guilt or shame or blame about those desires. There should never be any guilt or shame or blame for anything, really, including wanting things. Even if you are in survival mode and the ego is running the show, the desire to survive is legit. That is what keeps us alive. And the desire to, say, fit in and stay safe and not rock the boat and all of that, again, survival is the ultimate goal for the ego. So we cannot shame or blame or justify any kind of need to squash that. We want to honor that. But when we're not operating from the level of the ego that is just trying to keep us safe, when we've made enough room for the soul to actually be embodied, when we can speak with our body, with our heart, with different aspects of us, with our womb, with our soul, desire is creation energy that wants to move through you. It is life force. It is God. It is the divine. It is beautiful and sacred and powerful. And here's the thing. I'm speaking really directly to the women right now. If you are a guy, or if you identify as a woman, this is for you as well. And there's going to be pieces of this for you if you are a dude. But for women, your desires are so powerful because you are a goddess in form who is able to create life from your desire, from your sexual energy, which is life force energy, which is creative energy. Your desires are so potent and powerful that they terrified men because they could not be controlled easily. And I posit that the entirety of patriarchy is basically built around repressing women's power and their desire so we can be controlled, so they could reshape the story of divine creation in their own image. How convenient and absolutely detached from reality are those stories about God the Father and the Son missing the Mother, the actual creation portal one. Like, doesn't make sense logically, but logic was never consistent in this ideology. So this reclamation of your power has to include a reclamation of your pleasure and of your desire, of you honoring its potency, of you honoring that just because you want to is a good enough reason to do something. That is divinity moving through you, wanting to be expressed through you. There's an interesting phase that we go through on our spiritual journey and our spiritual evolution where we become more intuitive. But it feels like oftentimes that these intuitive downloads and all of the intuitions, are coming from outside of self, from source, from your highest self, from your luminous team or your guides, angels. It's like this very common thing. And I have felt that many times that I'm being told something and it's dropping in from outside of me or above me, or I'm communicating with someone in front of me, not within me. But there is this next level of being able to be so deeply embodied that you are not receiving messages from outside of self, but they are coming truly through you from the center, not dropping in from the top down, from above. They are emerging from your womb space, from your DNA, from your body, from your heart, from that core, that divine light that's inside of you. And owning that you have a desire that is coming from inside of you, instead of, I don't want to say justifying it by like putting it outside of self, but to be able to get to the point where it's not like, oh, I was divinely guided to do this, but to actually own your desire and your power and all of that to the point that you just say, I want to. And there is this energy of sometimes we are divinely guided and it absolutely feels like you're being redirected and directed, and it's coming from, this divine above you, outside of you, from outside of space and time. And I do want to honor that. I just also want you to honor that your desires that well up from inside you, from that creative spark, that Shakti life force energy in you, are just as valid to follow. And they will probably not make sense, just like those divine downloads don't always make sense until the hindsight kicks in, right? But that doesn't mean that we should not do something. Because I want to should be good enough. And I think as women, especially if you're a mother or you're a healer, you're a service provider, we've all been so conditioned to put our wants and sometimes needs to the side and prioritize other people. How can we be of service? Helping, like what do our kids need? What does our partner need? And we can, no matter how strong we are in our spiritual alignment and our self-care and everything like that, we can still have layers of this that like infect you so insidiously, where you do the thing that's easiest for everybody else, or you just don't fully commit to that thing that you want, that doesn't make any sense, that might feel too extravagant. The dream is too big or too luxurious or just too much in general. The reclamation of your desire is going to anchor you into your power. When the desire is coming not from that ego place, but from your womb space, from that, like, oh, I want to create this, I want to experience this just because I could, because I can, because I will, that is good enough. Even the silliest little things, right? The silliest little things we can deny ourselves of because it feels like we shouldn't. You know how I feel about shitting all over yourself, right? It always collapses your energy field. And it's like, it feels psychically to me as like tons of bricks being put upon you every time you're like, oh, I should do this. I shouldn't do that. I should. It is so heavy and dense. And when we want to tap into the divine flow, into the connection to that creation energy, to flow state, to that that energy of life force coursing through you, passion, purpose, abundance, all of that, my friend, you're gonna have to let yourself want things. We've been taught that wanting is bad, you know, and that we should just be satisfied with having our needs met. And isn't that a convenient way to keep women from having the abundance and the power that they would need in order to reshape the world? Feels like a big conspiracy to strip us of our power. I want you to actually get turned on by your own desires, by your own life force energy. You are a creation goddess in form. You can make life out of sex. Like, what? It is mind blowing. Or at least, you might have been able to if you're in a female form. And if you can't, energetically, that's still the archetype and the imprint. If you are infertile, if you have had your tubes tied or a hysterectomy, there is still the energetic creation energy that courses through you that is the most powerful thing in the universe. Because honestly, mother's love and divine love are also the same thing in the purest form. There might be a difference only of scale. Our existence used to be glorified to the goddess. We all knew in prehistory that the goddess, not God, the goddess was what created life. And that was stripped away from us, along with so much that we have lost and are remembering and reclaiming. There is a rise of priestesses, a rise of the Mary Magdalene energies, a rise of divine feminine power. And we're not going to be excluding the divine masculine in this new era. We are doing healing work for each of these archetypes, for these energies. And we want them to come into divine union. Because it's when the two energies, the Shakti and Shiva, meet in that orgasmic bliss that the universal energy is actually created, that creation comes into form. I have psychically astral traveled to this space of pre-creation that is orgasmic bliss, and waves of creation energy made of sound and light then make the universe manifest, the physical universe, and all of the different dimensional spaces and places. And it is born out of love and divine union. So every time we deny our pleasure, we deny what we want, we are denying our creative force. We're denying our creation energy and our power. You are allowed to want things. You're allowed to not assign it to your guides or your spirit team. You're allowed to just feel it in your body and go yes, that's what I want. And then to go and do the thing. This might seem like a really silly example, but I just got back from a vacation and I was with my daughter. We were down in Calgary visiting some family. I lived there for a decade. And my brother just opened a gymnastics center. So shout out to the Light Gymnastics Center in Calgary. My daughter went to do some summer camps there. And we weren't really sure what we were going to do afterwards. It was just me and her. Left my husband at home to take care of the cats, and he had to work. And we decided we would also go to Callaway Park and go on some roller coasters. And then just that same day, I got it in my head. I was like, you know what? I want to see some new mountains. I just had a feeling, an urge, a desire. It didn't make sense. I didn't have a logical reason. What do you mean new mountains? Why would I have to go and see new mountains? But this feeling inside of me, this desire to see new mountains, to download the codes, to be in them, was strong enough that I said, okay. I mean, I could make that happen, but it felt a little inconvenient. I'm like, oh, should I really take my 9-year-old on a road trip to go see mountains? She didn't really want to stop and hike in the mountains. She didn't really want to do that at all, actually. She's like, oh, a longer drive. And I feel like me a couple years ago would have been like, okay, that's fine. You know what? That's fine. Maybe I'll go drop you off and then I'll go myself, or I'll go some other time. I'll go with a girlfriend. But I just said, no, I want to go and I want you to come with me. So this is what's happening. I bribed her a little bit with, the things we were going to do. And I made sure that on the other side of that longer road trip, as we drove up from Calgary towards Banff and then up the Icefield Parkway towards Jasper, although we didn't go all the way there, we snuck off down David Thompson country on Highway 11 and stopped at Abraham Lake and then wound up in Rocky Mountain House. I booked a hotel with an amazing water slide, so she would be getting something out of the experience. I also had this desire not only to go see mountains, but also to go back to this lake that's outside of Rocky Mountain House called Crimson Lake. I had been there a few years ago and I felt like I didn't spend enough time there and I really wanted to spend the whole day there. I had no good reason why, and it's always been too inconvenient to just drive there because it's about 2.5 hours away from where I live. So a day trip, that's 5 hours of driving just to do a day trip. That's a little outside of what I would normally do with my family and stuff. But I was like, no, we could make this work. I could take this big ass tour through the mountains and meet new mountains. And then we could go and spend the day at this lake that I just want to be at for no good reason. It's out of our way. I just want to, okay? And I did. I didn't talk myself out of it, and it was glorious. And I didn't say I was divinely guided to go to the mountains to download some new codes, even though I was, and I did. I just said to myself, I want to. And so then I allowed myself to. And this might sound like, Casey, good God. Yeah, of course, you just want to go on a vacation and you just go. But I have to admit, mom life really made me a little bit more, I guess, unwilling to just do what I wanted to do, because I was always taking in, what my kid wanted to do, and et cetera, et cetera. And it has been a reclamation for me to really, really drop into what I want to do again. It was much easier when I was single and footloose and fancy free, like when you've got responsibilities, like, okay, well, who's going to take care of the cats? And, my husband doesn't want to go on this road trip. How are we going to do it all? And so again, this is just like the silliest little thing, but it was powerful for me to be like, I just want to go to this mountain. I want to see new mountains. I just want to go to this lake. Okay, great. We're going to go. It's going to, take us a couple extra days. We're going to be out of cell range. We're going to not be back home when I said we were going to be home. We're just going to go, and it's going to be amazing. And it was. And I downloaded new codes from those new mountains. They spoke to me. I thought that I had my Spotify music downloaded. I did not, or it just disappeared. So I sat in silence while my daughter listened to K-pop Demon Hunters in her ears, because she had downloaded that music, at least. And I think she watched the video a few times on her phone as well, that I would say, like, oh my gosh, Charlie, go look at that glacier. And she would look up and she'd be like, wow. And then, because this is hours and hours of driving through the mountains, so she'd go back to her media. And I was just talking to the mountains with my heart and just receiving things that I needed to receive. When we got to the lake and spent all day there, I was like, I felt my nervous system totally relax and be at ease. And I could actually, this time, psychically see the beautiful crystalline energy that was underneath the lake that I needed to tap into. I needed to be there. I am a grid worker. And sometimes I forget that I sometimes just need to go to places to exchange codes and keys, and it needs to be at certain times. So when I have this desire that is bringing me to a new place or space or experience, it's because there's something in it. Creation energy flowing through me wants to have an experience through me. And this was this gorgeous reminder to follow that flow, to allow the energy of desire just because I want to take me. And I can find the spiritual reasons, I can find the truth, but I don't have to even justify it with that. I can just want to, and then do the thing. And so can you. Take back the power of your desire from that soul-aligned place where you are whole and you're operating from the coherent space where you are not in that fight or flight energy, and it's not just ego survival trauma patterns, when you have done the work to be a clean and clear channel, your body will speak to you and tell you where to go and tell you what to do, what to eat, how to move. And you can co-create with all of the divine like this. This is the most exciting part of the work that I do right now with light workers, healers, soul workers, new earth leaders, who especially are women who have often flirted with having so many responsibilities that they have forgotten how to really fill themselves up to overflow, to fully honor their pleasure, their desire, their potency, and their power. And this is what we are bringing back in the Luminous Evolution brand moving forward. It is for us to feel the divine flow, the support, the magic that already exists, that we just have to get into the right state of openness to fully experience. And this is an area that I have mastery in, and I can help my clients, whether They're in my certification programs, masterminds, or my one-on-one work. This is what I help us do because I've walked this path. I make the mistakes. I have the programming personally that I have to rewire and, recover from, basically, and install the new stuff so that the new programming for the new paradigm, so that I can embody it and do it through all of the alchemical tools that I have so that I can show you the shortcuts. This is how we're playing in my world. We're activating that next level of abundance, pleasure, power, magic, flow, fun, creation, and life force energy. And we're doing it in style. We're doing it without burning out, without overgiving and over sacrificing. We are doing it as responsible creators who are dismantling the patriarchal capitalist programs that have kept us down, who have kept us from actually accessing our power so that we can step in to the new paradigm as leaders, as examples of what is possible. This is also the 1-year anniversary of the Infinite Evolution podcast. So I just want to celebrate 1 year of amazing conversations with luminaries. The conversations and interviews have been absolutely stunning. And then also having this format to drop my own thoughts has been such a gift. And I wanted to do it for a long time before I actually did it. And I could say it's all in divine time, but I know partially it was just me that held myself back because there was a divine time and there's an organic time, and I chose to put it on the back burner. And if anything, I wish I had started it earlier, but I'm in full acceptance and celebration that we have 1 year together so far. Cheers, and here's to many more.
Thank you so much for tuning in. If you've enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe and share this out to people that need to hear it. Tag us on social media. You can find us at The Luminous Evolution on Instagram. And keep the conversation going by joining my free sacred community, Luminous Evolution, on Facebook, and get a taste of my favorite tools and techniques inside my free Frequency Upgrade Academy. You can also join me inside my membership, mastermind, certification programs, or private coaching to be deeply supported on your evolutionary journey. Make sure to check out the links in the show notes, and cheers to your infinite, luminous evolution.